By the way, I'm Jim Whitley Theoden. I'm the father of Lekmak Whitley Theoden. Lekmak was born in 1987, May 19 to be precise. And for us, he was a normal child. There was nothing we saw that was wrong. But along the line, when he was developing, anytime he felt sick, he was experiencing pain, he would complain of pain, especially at the joints of his body. And that time when we took him to hospital, it was diagnosed that he had sickle cell disease. And as at then, we had not heard much about the disease, but the doctor sat us down to explain to us that condition. And so I think that is where the journey started. He would fell sick from time to time. When he started school, at times he would miss school for some days, and because he would be receiving treatment. And I want to say that the journey has not been easy. He is my firstborn. The second and thirdborn had that condition. But then the fourthborn, which was a girl, she had the same condition. But for her, we didn't notice she looked very, very normal, unlike Lekmak, that you could easily see from his eyes, the yellowish of his eyes and the weaknesses, and you could easily notice that something was wrong. But for her, there was nothing at all. So that when she went to secondary school, we took her to a boarding secondary school, that is Equa Staff Children's School at Faringada. But she would fall sick from time to time. The school would call us, but it was nothing serious. She would be administered the normal treatment, and she would be over. Unfortunately, in 2010, we lost her after a brief illness. In fact, she complained of fever, and normally we would think it was malaria, and so we gave her treatment for malaria. But then, that was on the 17th of August 2010. We had lost our stepmother on the 15th, so I went home. That was on the 17th. I left her in that condition. It was when I was home that they called me that they had taken her to hospital. By the time I came, I rushed down to Evangel Hospital, that is Equa Hospital, now Bingham University Teaching Hospital, only to meet that she was already dead. It was a nasty experience because as far as we were concerned, we could not see it coming. It was a normal fever that she used to experience whenever she had crisis. For Lekmak, it has been on and off in hospital. His own was more severe, and that's why he did not go to a boarding school. He completed his secondary school from the home. He'd go and come back because his own condition to us was more noticeable and more distressing. And so it has been a journey of hospital off and on. And Unfortunately for us, we lost their mother in 2013. And anytime it happened, the most distressing thing for me, it is that the person goes through the pain and you have nothing to do. You find yourself very helpless. You cannot assist him to overcome the pain. And that has been the most distressing thing for the family. And I want to thank God that the family has been very supportive, both the immediate family and the extended family. But along the line, he developed certain complications, especially with his hips. And it was diagnosed that the hips, certain part have been chopped and would need a replacement. And in 2018, we went to Kano, where he had a surgery for hip replacement. In fact, the hips, both hips needs to be replaced, but were able to successfully operated on. The doctors were able to successfully operated on one, the most critical one that was deeply affected. And so, as of now, when the resources are available, we are thinking he will still go through the second hip replacement. But one interesting thing is that since he was diagnosed with this condition, there has never been blood transfusion. He's never been transfused with blood. I think that for us. I want to thank God for that, because at whatever situation we went, the blood will not be such that he would need blood transfusion. And so he has grown up to be where he is today. I know he can better take care of himself, and so the distress is no longer much on us as it used to be when he was still in the secondary school or as a child. But all the same, whenever it occurs, we are discomforted, because it is not it's not something that you would wish for anybody, especially the excruciating pains that you would see them go through, and you are helpless. And I want to recall that in 2015, they went for a Christian event in Ghana by road from Jos to Lagos, from Lagos to Ghana. And when he came back by the grace of God, I think that is the time that, since he was diagnosed with this condition, that he was hospitalized for quite some period of more than 1 week in hospital, and the money expended was much. Because I want to thank God, because my thinking is, if it had happened on the road, what would have been the situation? If he had fell sick in Ghana when they were having that program, what would have been the situation? It was that when he came back, before he took ill, when I look back, I want to thank God, because at least he came back before he fell sick, and he was nursed back to normal. So it has been a tough journey, and I want to thank God also for his spirit of survival, because he's never discouraged. He has never given up on life. He believes that for whatever purpose that God has allowed him to reach this far, he will accomplish it. He's very positive in attitude, very positive to life. Another aspect is that he has had relationships, and at times, I don't know, various relationships that we felt were very serious and we were looking forward, suddenly they will break. But all the same, he's never discouraged, neither are we discouraged. Because as Christians, I believe that God has left him this far for a purpose, and that all things being equal, he will fulfill that purpose for which God has allowed him to survive up to this time. And a distressing thing that if anyone dies and we hear he dies of, or she dies of a sickle cell disease, that I think one's heart will skip. It's natural. But then, after all, sickle cell disease is not the only disease that kills. But it is normal to be apprehensive when you know that you have somebody that has that condition. But I want to thank God because I believe that with a positive attitude that he has, he will live to fulfill purpose. And for parents that have children with this type of ailment, my heart, is with them, because it is only when you experience it before you can. It is better experience than say it, because it is not a pleasant thing at all. I know there is no ailment that it is pleasant, but a situation where you see somebody is writhing in pain, and then you are helpless. It is not as if you administer painkillers; it will just go immediately. At times you have sleepless for the whole night. You will not sleep, because as long as the person is in pain, you must keep watch and continue to give words of encouragement. I think that has been the experience. But I want to thank God that since the 2015 experience, he has not had any major crisis that lasts for a week.